Do you like action movies? Do you like guns? If you answered yes to that little survey, then you have come to the right place. As we continue to dive into our Guns of Pop Culture series, most guns take a relatively short period of time to research their use in cinema. The Beretta 92 is not one of them. It, along with the Glock and the 1911, is probably the most heavily used pistol in cinema history. Today, we're looking at the 10 most iconic movies to feature the Beretta 92, and we might even have some unexpected picks. We'll also be looking at the evolution and changes to the 92 over the years, and we'll be looking at, from a scientific perspective, why dual wielding them is the most effective route. But first, let's answer the most basic question. Why is the 92 so heavily used in movies? And the answer is for a variety of reasons. You see, the Beretta is cheap and it's readily available. And the reality of Hollywood productions is they have budgets. And if the gun is not uniquely important to a leading character, then it's probably gonna make more sense to just go with something that's readily available, cheap, and doesn't require the armorers to redesign or modify some gun to fit the character. 2 is a more mechanical and nerdy level. You see, guns often need to be converted to allow them to run movie blanks. And this, to my understanding as a non-gunsmith, often involves removing locking lugs to convert the pistol to a straight blowback design. On a Browning tilting barrel system, this can be done, but it does wind up leaving a visual clue to the discerning viewer that the gun has been altered. Whereas with the 92's lever-style locking system, this modification happens internally, leaving no visual clue that the gun has been modified. And yet, that has nothing to do with why I love the 92. Okay guys, you're gonna really dig the sponsor of today's video, Firearms Legal Protection. Here's why you're gonna dig it. Well, one, you should dig it anyway, but they're doing like the coolest giveaway ever. So later this year, we have a private Patreon-only class going in Columbus, Georgia. The dates of it are September 13th and 14th. It is a private 2-day MP5 operators class being taught by James Williamson of Sly Tactical. You impressed, James, that I got that name right? And also like sort of being hosted, if you will, by HK. Pretty cool. Not something that really happens every day. We will have on the opening night, we will have a tour of the gray room. So you guys are gonna get to go like take your, handle MP7s, get to do all that kind of cool stuff. Here is the deal. FLP is gonna sponsor the one remaining slot to that class. The class filled up like almost instantly on Patreon. We reserved one spot for an FLP giveaway. So they're gonna cover your class tuition and your ammo. Travel expenses, hotel, gas or whatever, train, boat, whatever you guys do, that's on you, right? But class ammo will be covered by them. And we will supply you a gun. If you're like, oh, that sounds really cool, I don't even have an MP5. Don't even worry about it, man. We'll get that covered. I mean, you gotta give the gun back at the end of it, but like we will get you a gun to run for the class. So here's how you enter. It is open to any current FLP members who have used our code, which is 1911. So if you've already used that code and you're an active member, you're officially in the giveaway, my friend. Or if you sign up for any degree of FLP membership, including they've got like a 3-month prepaid thing, you can sign up for that. It's like $50, I think. Don't quote me. Again, use the code 1911 and you're in it. It runs until July 5th. So basically anyone's that signs up between now and July 5th, you are in the running for this one unicorn spot to this class. Winner will be randomly drawn the week of July 8th. Either myself or FLP will reach out. In the meantime, just go check out FLP anyway. It's basically self-defense insurance. So if you're like me right now and you're walking around the lake and some shit, a duck, some shit pops off, as long as it's legally justified, they're going to cover all that kind of stuff. So check it out. Again, code 1911. It's an awesome giveaway. You guys should definitely jump in that. On with the show. Kicking it off with movie number 10. And we're in this beautiful, lovely environment. And we just thought, man, we need a movie that really represents such a great locale. And that would be the warm and fuzzy Sicario 2, right? It just warms the heart, if you will. So there's movies on the list where the 92 is prominently featured. You know, it's like a hallmark of the character. Sicario 2 is not that. In fact, the 92 is barely in the movie, but it appears briefly in such just an incredibly badass scene that it's like, you gotta have Sicario 2 on the list. Now, in the movie, the US quietly declares a covert war on Mexico, specifically on the cartels that it has now labeled a terrorist organization.
You want to see this thing through? I'm gonna have to get dirty.
Dirty is exactly why you're here.
Now, old Josh Brolin, he brings in his partner in dirty crime, Alejandro, to initiate the plan. And it kicks off in glorious style, featuring the Beretta 92. Now, it is literally the only use of the Beretta 92 in the film, but it's so iconic. It's gotta be on the list. Movie number 9, we have Ronin. Ronin is one of my favorites and definitely one of the greats in terms of 1990s action movies. It features a team of mercenaries that get assembled to steal a case. What's in the case? Don't know. Probably not going to find out, but they know that they are tasked with stealing it from some folks that don't want them to steal it, which means violence, car chases, and action movies done to an absolute level of perfection. So we have an incredible list of guns throughout the movie. Ronin will no doubt within the Guns of Pop Culture series come up quite a bit, given just all the host of weapons that are in it. We've got Robert De Niro playing Sam as a kind of our lead hero. He gets a bunch of different cool weapons, but it's his right-hand man, Sam, that gets the 92. Now, he uses the 92 throughout the entire film, but it's one specific scene that has always stuck with me. Now, there's 2 car chases that happen in Ronin. The second one is the one for our particular scene that I'm referencing. So it is quite a while, and I think one of the best choices they made in that sequence, it's about a 7-8 minute car chase, which is a long chase. And the first half of it takes place with no music. And while I love incorporating music into, you know, cinema and even the YouTube stuff that we do, it's like, man, the choice of no music in that scene was absolutely amazing. So it gets heated up, right? We're about halfway through, music starts kicking in and everything. And eventually he decides it's time for this car chase to end. So Jonathan Pryce is in the bad guy vehicle, we'll call it, and he takes a couple shots at Sam and Vincent, and Vincent's like, oh, that's it. He doesn't say anything, but he basically rolls out the window, leans out the window, and he takes 2 shots, only 2 shots at the bad guy vehicle, and that's enough to end the scene. Now, it's an incredibly well done shot, just from an actual cinema shot perspective, but it's the sound of the shots that always stuck with me. It's just one of those weird things from childhood, but it's like he shoots a Beretta 92. It's a 9mm pistol, and it's the sound of like a cannon going off when he takes both of those rounds. It's just a really cool, weird play on the audio, and it's a great scene. That said, let's go back in time a little bit to the genesis of the Beretta 92. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the 92. So, it was designed in 1975. It went in production in 1976. It pulled from previous design of some different Beretta pistols to make essentially the new gun that would go into widespread use inside of the military and the law enforcement communities. Specifically, and most notably here in the US, it was the service pistol of the US Armed Forces from 1985 to 2017. Now, from a pop culture perspective, the first documented movie, this made my day, guys. I gotta admit, this really made my day when I found this out. The first documented movie to feature a 92 FS was A Better Tomorrow in 1986, starring Chow Yun-fat, directed by John Woo. That's just like poetry to my ears. The fact that that duo has the first documented movie with a 92 FS. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Haven't seen it, I gotta watch it. I mean, I'm like so thrilled to watch that movie at this point. But the gun had been in the civilian market for less than a year when they filmed the movie, right? So, I mean, this really was early 92. But in 1987, the pistol got its first big break in the US movie market. That year, it was featured in 2 blockbusters. RoboCop, which not very prominent, and then the big one, Lethal Weapon. Movie number 8, we've got The Rock. That's right, kids, The Rock. Released in 1996, it was like prime Michael Bay, starring Sean Connery and Nick Cage. And I gotta tell you, going into this particular video in Guns of Pop Culture on the 92, The Rock is the movie that I fell in love with, where I was like, wow. I forgot how much I loved this movie growing up as a child. The premise is we've got a rogue group of Marines who have taken over Alcatraz Island, and if they don't get a bunch of money, they're gonna launch chemical weapons at all the, the techie nerds that live on San Francisco, and they got a bunch of hostages, right? And so what's gonna happen? All right, real simple. We're gonna line up a group of Navy SEALs, right? So we're gonna get some Navy SEALs over to the island. They're gonna take the little Navy SEAL submarines. And we're also gonna get the only guy ever to escape from Alcatraz, John Mason. He's been locked up in prison for God knows how long. And then we're also gonna get chemical weapons expert from the FBI, Stan Goodspeed, and we're gonna go to the island. We're gonna take down the Marines. We're gonna get the weapons back. We're gonna free the hostages, and everyone is gonna celebrate us. Now, I would argue that as a totality of awesome moments, The Rock is really tough to beat by any action movie standard. I mean, when you just look at the individual scenes and sequences and everything, where you're just like, holy cow, man, like, this is like, they don't really make a whole lot of action movies like this. They definitely don't make them anymore. I mean, it just kicks you in the face, the whole movie. And for the 92, The Rock isn't notable for any one particular moment, right? It's not a Sicario 2 where you go, it was not really a 92 movie, but it's this one scene that's so grand that you have to include it. That's not The Rock. The Rock is just the Beretta 92s throughout the whole damn movie. The reason for it is because the whole movie centers around military and FBI, right? So you've got the Navy and you've got the Marines who use the 92. So if you looked at the weapons that are used throughout the entire movie, I mean, the MP5, I mean, granted, of course, when we do the MP5 video, The Rock will be prominent in that, but it's like everyone's using the 92 minus the general, right? Ed Harris, because he's got his Colt 1911, but it's like the 92 was used by all these troops. So it's in the movie the entire time. And it's a great movie, and it is definitely not.
Yeah, okay, that's just about the most awful thing I've ever seen.
Movie number 7. I was excited about this one. Hard Target, everyone. Hard Target, that's right. It would have been a crime if a John Woo movie was not on this list, but that might not have been the one that you guys were expecting. So 1993's Hard Target is a pretty horrible movie. I mean, it's very tough to stick up for it as an actual good movie, but this list is not about being good cinema per se, it's about being good movies for the 92, and Hard Target is real tough to deny once we go down that path. So, you guys ever hear about those, those tales of like an island where they hunt people, like rich people go out there and they hunt humans? Well, that's basically the plot of Hard Target, except they do it in a city. So basically, rich weirdos pay this organization, still can't quite figure out who this organization of people is, but rich weirdos pay this organization to go find a worthy person to hunt, and then they go hunt them down. But they do it like in New Orleans, which honestly is probably not really that unexpected, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, Natasha, sweet Natasha, she hires local badass and ex-Force Recon Marine Boudreaux, because that's what all ex-Force Recon Marines are named, to find her missing father. How do we know that Boudreaux is a badass? Well, it's pretty simple. He doesn't need to show us a gun to intimidate us. He just shows us a leg.
Now take your big stick and your boyfriend and find a bus to catch.
Oh, this guy's funny.
Now, unfortunately, Natasha's father has been hunted down by this gang, and Boudreaux's got to get involved, like Boudreaux's got to handle some business. And that's an excellent opportunity for him to show us his marksmanship skills from a moving motorcycle while standing on it and diving over another vehicle. Now, all of that leads us to Boudreaux being the subject of the hunt. He's now on the hook. He's being hunted, AKA a big finale with the 92. What happens? Well, how about this moment where you realized that Sicario 2 actually ripped that shit off from Hard Target? Was the kick necessary, though? But regardless, why would you want 192 when you can have 2? Again, though, the kick. I mean, let's add insult to injury around here. But the movie also does serve as a bit of a tutorial, if you will, on how you reload dual-wielded 92s.
Woodrow, Woodrow, Woodrow. I've been looking all over for you. You've been looking in the wrong places.
That's good. Because I know you wouldn't want to hurt my feelings.
Hard Target as a whole is peak John Woo 1990s unhinged action movies, and I love it. Movie number 6, that would be Underworld. Now, it's not really my kind of movie, but it does feature peak Kate Beckinsale, if we can be honest about this, and a set of 92s as the main hero gun, so it's kind of got to be on a list, you know? Now, we've covered Underworld on our Archon Type B video, but here's the basic premise. You got the vampires and the werewolves, which I think are called lichens. They're at some sort of like feud with each other, and Celine, aka Kate Beckinsale, she is a death dealer for the vampires, which is basically like a hitman. So you got hitman, vampire woman, and you got werewolves, and it's all really nerdy shit. I imagine there's probably groups of people, they get together and they discuss the mythology, and they probably have period correct clothing and do accents, and you know, I really imagine it's quite the scene if you really get into the forums, you know. But her Beretta 92s are modified. They've got these extended barrels and shrouds on them. It looks like a comp, but it's not. It's like a poor goth version of like a USP match, basically, is kind of what she's running. Now, hers are converted to full auto, which enhances her ability to get out of tricky situations, such as this. Bad movie? Yeah, it's a bad movie. But good movie for the 92? Yes. Guys, we'll be back with the video momentarily. Big thanks to the sponsor of today's video. That would be Ciguera Gear. They make some of the mag pouches I've been wearing today. They make a little headrest panel that I keep in the back of my vehicle with an IFAK that you can rip off of it, and an extra mag as if I'm in some, you know, continued gunfight or something like that. All the belts, light under Velcro belt, Emissary, the battle wagon, all that kind of stuff. The code is 1911 Syndicate. We appreciate you guys supporting them. That helps keep their lights on, helps keep our lights on. And if you need any other ways to support us, you can go to 1911syndicate.com. The 1911 Syndicate has actually always been a real estate business. This is just kind of how we communicate with you guys about it. So we work in a handful of different cities, from Salt Lake to Phoenix, Dallas, Las Vegas, Colorado Springs, a couple places in Florida. You can go to the website, check it out. There's maybe like 10 or so different cities where we feel confident we can give you guys a good service. Patreon's linked below as well if you guys looking for any additional ways to support behind the scenes stuff, private classes, whiskey releases. You guys get first access, Syndicate watches whenever we do those again. So anyway, appreciate it. Let's talk about more movies. Let's pause from the action movie chaos for just a moment to talk a little bit about the evolution of the 92. So the 92 fundamentally is a good design, right? But naturally, technology and advancements in the accessory market and the training environment in terms of what shooters are learning and what they demand, that evolves over time. And I do think that Beretta's done a really good job at keeping a very classic design current in the marketplace by just evolving it as demands change. So we had the 92, right? The FS, right? The old school. We had the 92 FS in our list of 5 essential pistols that you got to own to be a true gun guy, right? Now, whether you agree with that or not, hey, that's just Jake's opinion in this particular video. But in terms of which one you should get, I think there's a couple of routes that you can go. One is the classic, the 92 FS, right? And it's like, look, I bought this because I just thought I'm disappointed in myself that I don't have this. So I bought this, a few months ago because I just thought I had to have it. So are you going to shoot the FS a ton? No, not really, but it has all of the cool nostalgia ever. And while cutting edge for its day, the FS does leave a little bit to be desired by modern standards. So you got a chunky grip. That's something that, a lot of people talk about with the FS, right? You got this big chunky grip. Is it a little thick? Sure. Is it to say you can't shoot it? No, I don't have particularly big hands and it's like I can shoot the gun just fine, right? So man up out there. So you got a chunky grip, rough double action trigger pull. I will admit that to you. It's like, yeah, that first trigger pull, not gonna be super forgiving. Gets a little bit easier after that, obviously. No light rail, you got basic sights, no front serrations there. You've got these slide mounted controls, which for some people, not really a non-issue for me, but some people go, okay, cool. I rack my gun, and then when I let it go, I've set the gun unsafe, right? Because I guess people can't figure out that grabbing the controls and pulling back, it's like, I don't know. How about that? You ever think about doing that, everyone? Really not that tough, right? But for some people, that is a big deal that they put their gun unsafe and they didn't mean to. I say train more. But like I said, the FS does have all of the charm in the world. Now, there's been a lot of more modern variants that have come out, but this is the new GTS. And when frankly, leading into this video, it became pretty apparent to me that I needed two 92s, because you just do. Because dual wielding is a thing, as we will get to later in the video. So I was like, Beretta, this new 92 GTS really is kind of piqued my interest. And so I was able to get my hands on one of those. And this is a really, I've developed kind of an odd love affair with this gun, if I can be honest with you, over the past month or so. So you've got a significantly improved grip, right? Without all the palm swells and everything. I believe they call it the Vertec grip. I'm not a 92 expert. Don't crucify me, 92 lovers. Frame mounted controls, decocker only, so versus it being on the slide, so this bad boy, right, slide totally free. So if you want to do this, rock and roll, and then it's just on the slide here, right? That's the decocker right there, and it is on both sides as a lefty. You also have, and what's really cool about the decocker is it sends it to half cock, right? I don't know, uncomfortable for me and you at the particular moment, right? So if you were to go hammer down, right, and you see where the gun is, right, the hammer's all the way down. Cycle it, send it to decock, and you will notice that you're actually on this half cock mode right here. And then obviously after that, the gun would go to single action. The trigger is nice and cleaned up. And I gotta tell you, legitimately, I've not gamed it. Every time that I've drawn and shot this gun, I go from double to single. And it is very shootable as a A-zone, actual classroom appropriate gun. Very, very cool. Great sights, improved sights with fiber optic. You got the light rails. You can throw a light on there. These front serrations are perfectly adequate for anything that you're gonna need to do. And it is red dot capable, right? So is the red dot gonna be tall? Yeah. Would this be my pick for a red dot gun? Not as much. I'd probably at that point get this, send it off to Langdon, get it milled for a lower dot system would maybe be my preference. But hey, you can mount a dot on this if you like. To me, this is just a killer iron sights gun. Absolutely killer iron sight guns. And it's only $900. The standard FS is $800. So you go, man, for an extra $100, I get all of this extra stuff. So for me, the GTS is something that kind of piqued my interest when I first saw it. And it takes the 92 from iconically cool to very modern, usable. and I just like it. At movie number 5, we've got The Professional. Now, it's a little bit of an odd movie. Basically, little Matilda, her, aka Natalie Portman, early Natalie Portman career, her family basically gets smoked. They were involved in some bad, nefarious shit or whatever, and they get smoked by some corrupt cops. And her neighbor, Leon, who's just a nice guy, kills people for a living, but nice guy, takes her in, right? Takes her in at the door, gets her out of trouble, and vows to basically teach her the ways of becoming a hitman, or what they call as a cleaner, because we can't figure out what a cleaner is that carries dual Beretta 92s that are comped. Now, of the entire list of 10 movies here, and if I look at all the Berettas shown in all those 10 movies, if I could pick one that is the coolest, it's easily Leon's from The Professional. The Professional might not have the mainstream popularity of some of the other movies on the list, but from like a gun nerd perspective, it's a pretty spectacular movie. There's some real hitters that happen throughout that movie, a movie that no doubt will come up a lot on the Guns of Pop Culture series. As a showcase for the comped 92s, it's pretty damn good. Now, sadly, that comp is not made anymore. It breaks my heart because I keep trying to find one and I can't find one at all. But the gun really does get a lot of screen time, and the finale. At movie number 4, we've got Boondock Saints. That's right, everyone. The Professional might be just a normal pedestrian movie compared to Boondock Saints. It is a cult classic to its core. It's an odd, strange movie with a big fan base, but I do have to admit, as a feature for the 92, it really can't be denied. The movie follows Connor and Murphy McManus. They are twin brothers, maybe even Irish, I'm just taking a guess based on their name and the fact that they're in Boston. And in defense of themselves, they kill a couple of Russian mobsters, and they set out on this path of vigilante justice to rid Boston of the criminal underworld, and they do it all with suppressed Beretta 92s, pretty much dual wielded by both of them the entire movie. Now, the film was largely shut down from a proper release due to the Columbine shooting. It happened right before the movie was supposed to come out, and so they basically shit-canned the movie from coming out. Ultimately, it only came out in 5 theaters throughout the US, which made it a financial disaster for the studio, but, you know, cult classics kind of have this way of just popping up. So once the movie came out on video, people started getting behind it, went on to make $50 million, right? Not a bad showing for a very odd movie. Like I said, I don't particularly enjoy it, but I do believe it has earned its place in Beretta 92 folklore. Movie number 3, down to the freaking wire, everyone. So I'm gonna tell you this. If the 92 is an adequate choice for the chosen one, then it's good enough for you. There's nothing you're doing that's more important than literally saving the human race. That's right, everyone. It's The Matrix. Now, I would argue that the lobby shootout in The Matrix might be the best shootout of all time. And the 92 is front and center. And then we go from the lobby up to the rooftop.
Trinity! Help!
Now, there's other moments, but the grandeur of the 92's use in The Matrix is part of what makes it so memorable. I mean, it's just It's so good. So Neo also highlights something that continues to repeat itself, which is that the 92 is most effective and most at home when being dual wielded. Hard Target, Underworld, The Professional, Boondock Saints, and The Matrix. They all tell the tale that if you want to be most effective in a gunfight, dual wielding pistols is the correct answer. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna reenact the scene from The Matrix, where Neo, he is on the rooftop, an agent approaches him from the rear, and he spins around, both 92s out, and he just dumps at the agent. The agent, of course, has some fucking kung fu shit that he does, and he evades all the bullets. So what we're gonna do to just show you guys the effectiveness of dual wielding pistols is we're gonna run that drill. So I'll start from reverse. I'll spin in with the Beretta 92 GTS. We'll dump a mag, check our hits, see how we're doing, and then we'll grab two pistols, do the same thing, and you'll see that it's far more accurate and efficient to run two guns at the same time. Agent approaches from the rear. I don't know how many rounds fired. We'll try to count it up, but okay, so this dude's definitely hurting. So what do we got? A couple C-zone hits, rest is A-zone, so not bad. Especially, keep in mind everyone, I'm going from double action there. Really forgiving trigger on this double action. I'm turned into quite a fan of this thing. Now, dos pistolas. Yeah, you feel good doing it. Okay. A little bit of a flub there, okay? This might have already had a bullet hole through it. We really can't say with any certainty. Solid D-zone hit, solid C-zone, and a solid, solid D-zone. So we got 18 rounds into, so 36 rounds, 4 hits. Killed one thing, killed my clip. I think really the case has been proven. That's the correct way. At the number 2 spot, it's no longer just a movie, my friends. It's a franchise. And I may shock some of you with this one because it's almost impossible to have a conversation about the 92 and not mention John McClane. Some of your jaws just dropped at home. At the number 2 spot, really? Really, guy? So it all kicked off in 1988 with John flexing on the other airline passengers on the way to a Christmas party.
It's okay, I'm a cop. Trust me, I've been doing this for 11 years.
Things then get a little spicy at the Nakatomi Tower, and Carl Winslow is unfortunately no help whatsoever.
Oh, the hell is this?
You are done. No more table. Where are you going, pal? Next time you have a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate.
Thanks for the advice.
And let's not forget about McClane pulling off that brilliant sleight of hand moment.
You know how to use a handgun, Bill?
I spent a weekend at a combat ranch. You know that game with the guns that shoot red paint? Probably seems kind of stupid to you.
Well, time for the real thing, Bill.
Just a word of advice to Hans. Always know the condition of your weapon, and when in doubt, just do a simple press check, bro. Real simple.
Put down the gun and give me my detonators.
Well. Hans.
Put it down now.
It's pretty tricky with that accent. You gotta be on fucking TV with that accent. What do you want with the detonators, Hans? I already used all the explosives. Or did I?
I'm going to count to 3.
Yeah. Like you did with Takagi. Oops. No bullets. You think I'm fucking stupid, Hans?
You were saying?
Now, the Beretta puts in work throughout the entire movie, but ultimately it comes down to just 2 rounds.
Oh, yes. What was it you said to me before? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Happy trails, Hans.
Now, Die Hard is gun guy action movie royalty, like truly, like probably is as a dedicated movie, probably the #1 spot, and I don't even think that we could particularly argue with each other about that. Its significance really cannot be overstated, but Die Hard 2 proved to be a worthy successor and kept things in the Christmassy vibe, this time at the Dulles International Airport.
I'm gonna kick your fucking ass.
Now, Die Hard 2 also goes on the classic action movie roster of cinema, and I'll go on record as well saying that Die Hard with a Vengeance continued the series in amazing style. McClane finally gets to show off his driving skills.
Listen to me. Hang the fuck on, all right?
And that's where things go a little bit south. In #4, aka Live Free or Die Hard, look, it's not amazing. It's not amazing. It's entertaining, but it's not amazing. But they made a fatal mistake. They switched John McClane's gun. He trades out his beloved 92 FS for a Sig P220.
That's gonna wake the neighbors.
And things got even worse, way worse, in the final installment, A Good Day to Die Hard. They briefly try to show McClane at the range, running his old 92 like an old guy at the range with his old gun, but it just didn't work. At that point of the series, it lost anything resembling reality or even good action movies at that point. And some of you are going to ridicule me for having Die Hard at the #2 spot, but when it came down to ranking these final 2 spots, I had to look at the totality of the series. Die Hard chose to abandon the iconic hallmark of John McClane's Beretta 92. Meanwhile, loyalty persists at the #1 spot. The big grand finale, movie #1. Let's start here. Is it a Christmas movie? Debatably, you could definitely argue it. Either way, 3 William 56, they're coming for you. They're taking down bad guys. They're LAPD detectives. They're a bunch of badasses. We got Riggs and Murtaugh doing the damn thing with the 92. Now, fun fact, the 92 from Lethal Weapon and Die Hard is the same gun. And I don't mean like the same lineup of gun. I mean, like, this is the same damn gun. It's the actual same prop gun was John McClane and Martin Riggs' gun. I mean, that has to make it, in my mind, I mean, without comparison, the most famous movie prop gun of all time. And to my understanding, it's still in the NRA museum today, which is just, God, I mean, how cool is that? Now, Riggs is a character defined by his use of the Beretta 92’s. It is with him prominently for all 4 films, and that's the big deal right there. All 4 films, entire series. Now, let's keep in mind that the movie came out right after the gun hit the commercial market, so this was the 92's first significant moment. It even gets some range time in this classic scene.
Officer White, pick up.
Watch carefully.
Fire on number 7, number 8. Weapons in safe position. Downrange target.
Hey, look at that, will you? Not bad for an old man.
Okay, step aside, old man.
Lieutenant Evans, report to the range commander. Lieutenant Evans, report to the range commander. Sergeant Dennis, call your watch captain. Sergeant Dennis, call your watch captain, please.
Have a nice day.
Now, 2 years later, the sequel came out, and in my mind, Lethal Weapon 2 is actually where it all started to come together. It improved upon the original. And I think when we think of Die Hard as this like fun action buddy comedy thing, I almost skip over the original, to be candid with you, and I go straight to Die Hard 2. We had the addition of Leo Getz, played by the great Joe Pesci, and one thing about Leo, he knows his guns.
We're gonna be your shadow for a few days, Leo.
Okay, that's all right with me. Hey, an old-fashioned wheel gun. Ow. Okay. I just didn't see one in a long time. I didn't think anybody used those things anymore. Boy, I bet you the kid's got an automatic. How about it? You got an automatic? Yep, a Beretta. There it is.
Don't touch.
Okay.
So how about you guys at home? You got an automatic? You got an automatic on you? You know? Leo, he probably does. Well, they don't give him a gun, but if they did, they'd probably give him an automatic. So Leo didn't just know about wheel guns and automatics. He knew about life. Case in point, the drive-through.
Oh, sure. Don't go back. Okay, don't go back. That's it. That's what they want. Let me tell you, can I give you two guys a friendly piece of advice, okay? Don't ever go up to the drive-thru, okay? Always walk up to the counter. You know why? Okay. I'm gonna tell you. Okay. They fuck you at the drive-thru, okay? They fuck you at the drive-thru. They know you're gonna be miles away before you find out you got fucked, okay? They know you're not gonna turn around and go back. So they don't care. Who gets fucked? Oh, Leo gets. Okay, sure. I don't give a fuck. I'm not eating this tuna, okay?
Now, Riggs' 92, of course, gets some good screen time as he plays the great game called Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
Just get out of here. Cafe lover.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Hey, Mom!
Hey, sorry, Adolf.
You ever needed to shoot down a helicopter? Grab a 92. From there, we moved on to Lethal Weapon 3, and I think the starting place with Lethal Weapon 3 would be the philosophical debate, was Rene Russo ever actually hot? Or are we all off? Because I swear when I was like 13, she's real hot. At current age, I don't know, guys. I don't know. You can litigate that down in the comments. I'm not here to persuade you in any direction. But for the first time in the series, Riggs finally gets to dual wield the 92's.
Happy birthday, kid.
And finally, we've got Lethal Weapon 4, where Jet Li blew our minds by almost instantaneously dismantling a Beretta 92. Now, fun fact, if you look at the gun, right, as we play the clip here, you can see that the takedown lever is actually pointed down, meaning they just pre-staged the gun. All he had to do was grab the slide and pull, and the slide's gonna come off the gun. It's so rare that a pistol becomes part of a character's identity, but that is the case with rigs. The 92FS is nothing special. It's nothing uncommon. It's not like an Infinity 2011 or something crazy, but it was completely integrated into the identity of rigs. Now, ironically, Lethal Weapon was released 1 year prior to Die Hard, and it was the first significant cinema moment that featured the 92. I mean, how cool is that? Like, the thing I got at the #1 spot, objectively, was actually the first real big moment in movies that featured it. It's just like, oh man, I don't know, it's poetic, you know, if we just make poetry out of weird gun shit here. And while Die Hard as a standalone movie would probably rank as my #1 spot, Lethal Weapon as a series ran for 21 years and never faltered on rigs using the 92. All hail the king of 92 cinema, Martin Riggs. Now guys, maybe, I don't know, a month ago or so, we had a video out on the 5 essential pistols that every gun guy must own, and I had the 92 on there. And you can only say so much in a video like that, but hopefully the list today gives you a little bit of inspiration. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of good stuff that didn't make this. And hopefully this little video today convinced you that you gotta have one. You gotta go out and get a Beretta 92. All right, you guys have a good week. We'll see you soon.